Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights of today's LPL 2025 Split 1.
Wolves, and expect to see them working their way towards their respective red buffs, but we also have a lane swap Zeka
Forced the flash, but the immediate follow-up from On gets the guaranteed knock-up, and it pulls him right into Elk's grasp. Maybe Elk will flash over the wall here. The crashdown comes in. Elk doesn't even need to burn a single summoner spell. It's just that damn easy. BLG with first blood.
Yeah, Zeka trying to get...
And obviously, sometimes when you have a tank matchup... Hang on. You might hold here. Wei does lock down On, but he initiates the crash down, and oh my goodness, Knight was already level 6 with the Between Worlds, does so much burst, and that forces LNG to scatter. Jewel already forced a flash, but Wei is going to follow up through as he already possesses the Jace, trying to look for another reset, but because he's not level 6 yet, can't go for the hard
exit path for On. Still doesn't have the flash up, or I think it just came back up, so if he dips down, would have been tough for him to get out. He's got to go up. I think those could have been angled a little bit better to maybe pressure something different from On.
I think Photic is in trouble, and yes, he is. Bin all out, takes the rat downtown, puts him back into the grave.
Oh, Bin Sante, it's back in 2025. Kasante, still a very, very, very strong champion in this season. For me, that's the biggest surprise so far. But no, I'm not surprised that BLG are up like this.
Yeah. This is what we were alluding to. Wei had no idea that BLG were waiting in the wings. They get that first pick onto the plant lady, and now Nautilus could be the next target. Heartbreaker sinks his sword deep into Nautilus's back, and he doesn't even need the reset. That's a double kill going over to Elk. I mean,
Wei just kind of throwing it back to RNG.
BLG have been absolutely relentless with their picks. No, leave him alone, Knight, not you too, man. He still has Between Worlds if he wants to pop it. He finally does after landing the Weirding for extra bit of damage. One more cast of the twofold Hex, and Photic is just getting the absolute BLG love treatment.
This is a harsh kind of love they're giving him as Joel.
Man, it's tough love, man. Bullet time. Good night, Joel. And the rest of LNG are going to cede control of these grubs because they do not want to mess with Wei, who's now has...
And with the health bar advantage being in favor of BLG, their first dragon of the game will be secured, and this will be yet another feat of strength. That's 2 out of 3, so the bonus boot secured now.
BLG almost 4,000 gold ahead at this point. On can pretty much walk into any jungle quadrant with Wei, and I feel like have absolutely no fear. You know, unless LNG completely overload on one side, which is what they're attempting to do. Death Charge does go on away, and On is forced to flash, but the Ignite, along with the Leandri's burn from Wei, does take him out, and will give one reprieve of a kill back to LNG's side. But during this whole time, Matt, Elk is just comfortably pushing in on this bottom wave, and will secure first brick for the side of BLG. You know, I'm at a loss for words, man. I'm going to be honest. You know, LNG, they've got a really, really tough state for them to try and crack.
Team is so good. It's so fun that they stuck together. And, oh boy, Hai Chao. He's under focus.
Could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Good flash. Immediately not giving him an angle. However, Ben is going to commit his own flash over the wall. And they're not going to even need to use the all-out. Hai Chao's just got nowhere else to run. On was distracting the rest of LNG on the bottom flank, and he is still alive because LNG cannot push through this corridor. Zika is now completely cut off, and Wei is going to try and lock him down. Here comes the rest of the CC. Joel tries to look for a re-engage, and they try to pepper him down with the long-range damage on Photic's back end, but he's just got no fuel left in the tank. He's run out of mana. The rest of his teammates are falling by the wayside. Joel is forced to run, and BLG have complete control of this game.
See, this is why we're really set his team up for success, because when depth charge is down and when pummeled execution's down, what's going to deal with the rest of the Fed members of BLG? It's the tools that On gets out early in the fight. That's really big in terms of freeing his team up to play the fight up and forward later on as the fights continue. Bottom left to our screen, going back to live.
Let's see what LNG can find.
Yeah, with Zyra, Ziggs, if you're holding the chokes, you're feeling really good. But I don't know how long you can hold these chokes. A 7K gold deficit BLG has the stats, has the items to walk through these chokes against the mages and try and do some damage here to LNG.
Yeah. The base stat differential just makes it so that the tanks don't even care about the Ziggs bombs and the Zyra plants. However, On does get blown up, and that's really darn good for LNG. Now a 5 versus 4, but Zika's caught on the wrong side of the tracks, trying to play distraction, and might just escape, but Wei lands a well-timed W through the wall, and now has possessed the Mbessa.
Well,
and the rest of LNG are nowhere near close to securing this dragon, so now they're starting to give ground as Wei makes his way through, using the power of the mobility of the Mbessa, and the rest of LNG cede control, and that is the second dragon for BLG.
Yeah, it kind of felt like
critical mass on some of their threat points for diving the backline, but I mean they're behind the curve, which it just makes things so much more difficult in actually
for them to really crack open that dragon for themselves. So just the fact that LNG is behind like this, the comp they have hurts even more. And
oh boy, as soon as they see an enemy out of position, On wastes no time. However, Elk gets bursted down. This is really critical for LNG. Major carry gone, but Wei has the power of the resets, and he could just rip through the team by himself. He's got Bin, he's got Knight, all in the back pocket to try and assist him on these possessions as he finds Haichao and the right side of that fight. LNG, the rest of the members are forced out of the safety of their own jungle quadrant.
And BLG, we'll see if LNG wants to challenge him.
Juo is trying, man. He's trying to find some vision through that tri-bush corridor. However, On was waiting, and the bullet time immediately forces the flash out of Wei. Nice strangle thorns, but Knight on the right side. Good flank between worlds. Finds the jungler, pops him, and Fodic just makes it in time. Still hasn't made an Inferno Bomb to try and look for some burst, but it's all on to the other LNG members to open up space and create that initiation opportunity, but there's no jungler for the side of LNG, so there's no smite contest, and Wei still has the smite available, so this should be an objective guaranteed.
I think this is a dangerous start here for BLG. There's a lot of poke on LNG, and Otacon shreds, but okay, if they find another, that's good. Okay, using the objective to get kills, but sticking it here is still a bit hairy. They have it down to 4K. LNG, oh man, there's no smite, can't walk in. All right, gonna be a give. Well played by BLG. They pull off, and now with the GA buffs, they're just going to continue.
Yeah, there's no flash on Fodic, so he's been cut off from the rest of the support of his team. I mean, it's just really nice from BLG to wait out, to bait LNG in members one by one. They even had the patience to let Fodic's last Q hit the Otacon so that Wei didn't mistime the smite and accidentally give that objective on over. Very clean stuff from the BLG squad.
BLG has now hit that lead, if it wasn't sure enough yet. So,
if there were any doubts before, I hope that we have quelled those doubts, or at least BLG has personally quelled those doubts within anyone that might have thought
ended up winning Demacia Cup, but we didn't see them have the best series earlier on. To see BLG this dominant and taking care of teams like this early on, this is a scary team, man. And Knight, I mean, this angle looks way too good yet again.
So good. And he knows that Fodic and Wei don't have flashes. Easily pops one of the mages. The bullet time rips apart the support. And LNG frontline is now turning into paper mache. Knight finds Fodic once again and says, hey, do you remember the laning phase, my friend, where I killed you like 2 or 3 times? Well, here's a 4th death for you.
It feels like an FF on the map here for LNG as BLG, they tickle the Baron to draw LNG in and demolish them piece by piece. Now taking the map apart piece by piece. Mid inhibitor turret's going to fall. Baron's about to fall. Haichao's taking the consolation prize in the bot lane because I think he's FF'd and he's just, trying to push and get what he can down there. Feels like the solo queue adventure where you're done with the game, but your team hasn't FF'd yet. Is at least going to get objective bounty. I think this is the right call. I know I'm joking a bit for LNG and Haicha. Is the right call.
Yeah,
still,
it does look like a rage split moment, but OG were absolutely relentless with their pressure, and they just never gave LNG a window back into this game. And we're just moments away from them being able to close it out. Obviously, though, Knight might be in trouble, but uses the Between Worlds and stands on the far right edge to bounce back to the left, giving him an immediate exit. Nicely done. He still has a TP, so if he needs the chance to base and regroup with the rest of his team on this bottom flank push, they definitely can. But a public execution catches Knight, and he's forced to flash. They're trying to all in to see if they can get at least one kill and knock down the Medjai Soul Stealer stacks. At least one victory for LNG today, but they're going to lose out on their top laner, and BLG still matching strong 4 versus 4 on the map.
Yeah, respect to Zika, one of the pieces that has beaten BLG the last 2 times that LNG has met them. Him and Weiwei, the returners from the contenders of LPL last year. Ends up making a big play, finds the shutdown. That said, not going to change the fate of this game either way, as the second inhibitor turret and inhibitor to fall. BLG continue the push. Knight spawns in 20, and as you called out earlier, Rafa does have that in power TP. Doesn't protect the minions anymore. Those minions will still take damage. A little bit harder to end the game. Can't use the TP to protect the wave anymore.
There's a couple ultimates still available for LNG to use, but it's all on Jewel to find the CC to layer it on top. They take out one Nexus turret. To be fair for LNG, if they manage to stall this base defense, those Nexus towers will respawn, but they're taking a lot of damage. Both Zika and Knight are back up on the map. He has teleported and joined his comrades here in the field. Elk trying to pepper down Hai Chao, but it looks like Zika is trying to deal with... Oh my god, a poor Hai Chao just cannot endure the pressure from Elk's misfortune. Jewel gets knocked up once again, and there's the final window that BLG needed to put the wrapping touches on this game. Nice try, LNG, but you're going to have to try way harder if you want to step to the reigning world finalists. GG, well played. BLG take. BLG's early game was scary in the first game of the series, where they didn't even really draft that many. It's not lethal. They did try and stall out this dive as long as possible. It doesn't look like that it should be that successful. Both are very healthy, but On goes in, takes up the turret, aggro flashes away, and then at the very last possible second, he dodges the turret aggro with the repel. Elk is also forced to flash, but they burned both summoner spells on a Photic, and he's super low. They just need one more. Wei doesn't have flash anymore, but he lines up the wind, becomes lightning, and Photic can't dodge it. First blood goes over to BLG.
That's big. I mean, there's no TP here for Photic, so he's going to lose a lot of CS and XP. Meanwhile, no flash for Ben. Gonna try and get around this one, but I think he's gonna be going down here.
Q flash? No, he doesn't even need the flash. He's in range. It's a nice trade kill for LNG to get one back and punish as Ben was pushed up on that. Still down without a flash. He can secure this crash safely, but they're just gonna go right onto Zika, and the flash does not escape the range of the taunt. Wei able to impact both side lanes in the first 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, usually you...
Such a clear-cut and choice for BLG, and why they have, decided to rock with him as the main starter going into the LPL 2025. Only 1,000 gold down. A lot of that advantage is scattered evenly throughout a majority of BLG's members, but a chain of corruptions immediately forces Photic's own cleanse on repeat. On with the cocoon flash, locks down this Braum. Here comes Weiwei. Maybe they can find a way to turn this one around based off that last concussive blow stacked up. Dragon of the game. I imagine that they have options here to say, do we want to force this dive top, or do we just want to get the crash in and get bases off and start setting up towards the bottom side of the map?
Oh, hold on, Wei.
Well, he has a flash, but the Crescent Guard is not going to protect him when they get in melee range and lock him down with all those ultimate abilities, and that's a nice catch from LNG.
Yeah, nice trap. I was going to say, I don't know if the dive's on the table, but they can at least try and send a few bonus members up here in pressure to utilize their grub advantage to take some plates. And I want to say that's what Wei was posturing for, but nice trap laid from LNG to take Wei out, and Wei, who really had a start worthy of a player of the game performance already, going to be slowed down there a little bit by the trap blade from LNG.
And so significant from LNG to have been able to get the one person who has accumulated all of those kills and stop their momentum from really snowballing this game out of control. This gives them the option. Wei can now get into the pit. Hai Chao is forced away. Oh man, not like this.
I'm trying to think of a pun about Wei. It's not coming to me, Rafi. You got anything?
When there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I think that's the simplest one I can come up with.
Yeah,
You know?
Unfortunately, the will away pushed way out of the pit, too. That's a bummer. Anyway,
I'm not going to lie, that kind of deflated a lot of the momentum we had for LNG.
Yeah, another perk about Elise, those Spider Wings do a ton of damage to turrets. 6 grubs, and Elise hits pretty hard. Going to be enough to take the turret, and they're just going to push forward. Way doesn't quite have the Crescent Guard up yet. Chain of Corruptions.
There we go. Nice piercing arrow on the back half. Not enough range on that last hail of arrows from Elk to get the last bit of damage down to knock out Jewel. But BLG getting the pressure that they need to secure first brick. And because they had already secured the first 3 kills of the game, they get the feats of strength. Oh, but Ben's in trouble. Sika with the rumble is able to burn him to a crisp. And here we go. Maybe a little bit of momentum that LNG are desperately needing in the second game of the series.
I mean, Zika's... So I think that first trade, even despite being down a level, Zika was able to get a ton of damage down early on. Really impacted it now on. Uh-oh. He's got nowhere to jump to.
Yeah, I mean, he can jump to Zika, but I don't think he's getting out of this one without repel.
Okay.
All right, LNG, they're starting to turn up the heat here. Really, you know, just pressing the gas on any time they have their ultimate abilities to force a lockdown. They do not...
There were the 2 different scrim bubbles going on. And we saw the rumble from Zika early on. We weren't super sold in the pick yet, and he was a big part of the reason why people started getting sold on it. As that's a lot of tools burned by Way. Flash by Night. Goodbye, High Chow.
Good night indeed. Now, big shutdown onto High Chow, and it is for Night, but the rest of the cavalry from LNG are swarming in. Way's got nowhere else to run. Ben throws down the hero's entrance, provides the knockup they need to at least trade one back onto Way. Han trying to reposition for another cocoon, is in human form, does have that angle. It doesn't look like it's off cooldown quite yet.
A little bit more. They set that one up, but not the way that he decided to play it. And instead, as we turn live, BLG, again, 6 grubs. You can see how much damage Elise does to these turrets with the Spiderlings and the grub only mid left to fall in favor of BLG. And of course, BLG were able to secure the feats of strength. That's a big one as well. 6 grubs help with that. And we kind of missed out on that one as the second dragon falls. I was thinking about that. Do have Hex Soul on the table. This dragon, which, if secured, will be soul point for BLG. Under attack and will be spotted by the True Shot barrage from Photic. But no contest from LNG. So BLG at skirmish on the top side got more ults out of LNG. Able to from Zika to start. TP in response from Ben. He'll be joining the fight. On's not spotted.
Oh, on Cocoon Flash. I think he found the one target into Zika, and that was the main hero that we were looking at, LNG, to step up. But if he's gone, the rest of LNG, and I don't think they're rocking the firepower needed to tango with the best in the LPL. BLG already finding 2 kills off the back of that pick, and they're going to turn their faces right back to the Otacon.
I gotta see a replay of that one. I'm not sure how the cocoon exactly connected with the rumble because a couple flashes were burned. Way was fantastic. Otacon easily secured here by BLG. Just so easy that they decided to move straight onto the Baron. We'll see if they use this to bait him in and turn with a GA buff or just stick it as Way spotted being marked by On, and he's just gonna be forced out. So that's a free Baron for BLG.
Wow. BLG. Oh boy. Well, that was not the greatest outcome if you're an LNG fan, as you're now staring down a deficit of 8,000 gold against BLG, who are just pounding this inhibitor tower in the mid lane, using the power of the Baroned up minions. And they even have been on the top side taking care of business through this tier 2 quickly. This inhibitor will fall, and the rest of BLG... They're going to try and go for it. They have to send High Chow back. I mean, Nexus turret 1 falls. Juo is the first target they find, and he just gets completely decimated. BLG, 5-4. LNG running out of options here. I mean, you might as well try to kill the minion wave. They turn onto the left side. Q Flash finds the target. There's the Fate Seal onto the back line. Decent damage, but remember, the voracious Otacon gives them the GA, so they're not actually that dead. They can come back with the power of TPs if they need it. BLG forcing everything out of LNG's hand, but they're just not getting enough done. Way goes all the way in, but he's got Knight in his back pocket, and he unloads the rockets into his back. LNG tried, but it just wasn't enough. Once again, a BLG now have them cornered 2-0 in the series. GG, well played.
14, and we go to On, and his recent games, I go to the very last game that he played in LPL
You have to be
playoff.
careful, though, because if he times the W at the same time as the steadfast presence, it will not go through, and he will not get his stun off on the Zika. But he is being forced back, and Knight might just look for a solo kill on the High Chow, but he leans to the support of Weiwei, and because he's there, Knight is forced to flash over. Weiwei follows with his own flash, and now is trying to keep in range of him using the slow from the red buff, and here comes High Chow. Wait on back. Weiwei with first blood.
Good attempt from Knight on the side. Steal away. I mean, I think the next base is probably just going to answer it for us. I'm okay with the early cloth armor. Keep in mind he was in a 2v1 scenario, right, with him being the one, and against Poppy too. That can be rather useful. Oh boy, Paranoia.
Normally, I say that Featherstorm is a great answer into the Nocturne Paranoia, but not when you don't have it off cooldown. And On tries to save his 80 carry with the Tempered Fate, but it's just not enough. That we've seen in this series so far, not necessarily a rare case in the LPL, as you know, dragons have been less of a priority. Oh, Knight, you got to be careful, bro. Jewel does have flash, but a nice, well-timed. I'm not sure what Jewel was yourself after something's been said that you were not expecting. Has On. I don't think he was expecting this cow, and he gets interrupted on the magical journey out. He's not getting out alive at all. And with the lights turned out, Elk has no idea that there's an angry cow walking towards him. So he's forced to pop the Featherstorm, and then it's not enough damage from the Super Mega Death Rocket, but it was close. And LNG, they're trying to slam that foot on the pedal. Wei comes in with the Grand Starfall, but I don't know what he was expecting to get, because Weiwei is there to cover, flash into the W to try and ferry himself to Jewel, but he's got the damage reduction for the ulti, and Elk just can't do enough. Flash from Weiwei gets him out of range from the turret.
As we return to line, looks like we thought we were going to have a fight going on. Not the case, but a 2K gold lead from LNG. Last game, it was the one member that stuck around, the top laner in Zika, that was big. This time it's the other one, Weiwei, who's really making things happen for BLG.
I think Ben was trying to anticipate the Keeper's Verdict and flash over it, but I don't know if it was just a little delayed, but Wei steps aside it, maybe has one more Q in the tank, but Zika sidesteps it. LNG are cooking, man, and here comes High Chow to look for the punish on the bin. Grandmaster's Pipe is just popped a little too late, I fear. My goodness. Tempered Fate is going to force the flash out of High Chow. But man, oh man, BLG, they haven't gotten a single solid play for themselves on the map yet.
Oh, heads up. Elk could be in trouble if he shows. Does have Flash and Featherstorm. But yeah, Paranoia.
That forces the Featherstorm, but there's a flanking Jewel, and they follow him into the jungle quadrant, and this time the rocket finds its mark. No barrier, no Featherstorm, nothing to protect Elk on the Xayah. And
that's for LNG, and for BLG, I mean, I gotta say it. Oh, hold on. We can't talk. We had a TP
They're
coming
gonna try again.
Yeah, Knight's been focused to WAP, but now he's gonna turn his sight.
New challenger approaches.
Yeah,
Zika has no tools this time to escape, and this is a guaranteed kill. BLG's first one of this game 3, which feels pretty strange to say for the side, especially if we just know the pedigree of BLG, but they're going to continue pressing forward. Fodek forced to flash, slowed by the Cosmic Binding. They turn their eyes on the Jewel, get his flash as well, and now Fodek is in trouble. No flash to dodge the Temper Fate, and surely this should be a solid shutdown bounty going back over to Elk.
Pretty decent answer coming out from BLG. They did lose the Rift Herald, as that was picked up by Weiwei while all that was going on. That said, BLG, they're going to take the tower now after the kills. Mid-outer gonna fall, and see they set their sights onto the Dragon. High Chow will dock down top outer for himself, but again, LNG, I mean, just good to see them making these proactive plays together as a team. And I want to see where the next... No objectives on the map besides Otacon, which did spawn topside. It's voracious, you know, it's a pro game. We all know what it is. Oh, okay, here we go.
Little far from Wei, but High Chow is forced back into Wei anyway, since the rest of BLG was collapsing through the bottom quadrant of that jungle. Another successful collapse. BLG, you have to fight through Barrier, you have to fight through Mountain Soul, and the added resistances on top of it. So they're going to try to pull the trigger here. Paranoia into the Featherstorm, answer blow for blow. But Elk might be forced to flash, but it's a great collapse from Zika. Still looking for the turnaround and the follow-up, but Wade turns around with a collapse of his own. The counterattack is too great for LNG to overcome, and the rest of BLG's strength rises in numbers. LNG just got nothing left to fight back.
I gotta see a replay on that one because the start of the fight looked pretty promising for LNG. They found a really nice combo onto Elk. The engage from Zika was big, but the follow-up just wasn't there. Jinx got taken out by Knight on a bit of a tankier Azir build. That dominated the fight, and I gotta say, next objective take, it will be feats of strength as well. So looks like
they are now on soul point after the take of this third dragon. Otacon secured on their side. And it's back to the same expectations that we had at the beginning.
To access a top wave. It's kind of a dead wave at the moment. Can't get to the top side camps because they're defending this. And so BLG dictating the pace of the game. And LNG have to dance to BLG's tune.
The voracious GA is doing so much work. Bin is occupying the attention of two players on the top side. Wei just collapses through Bin. Okay. But these GAs are going to get popped. And BLG, they knew what they wanted to come for. They get the tier 2 turret knocked down, sacrificing the voracious GAs of both of their solo laners. And that, it does delay things a lot, but...
Yeah.
I mean, as a jungler, hang on. Decent engage in
must fight.
Top quadrant. Zika in trouble. Teleport coming in. I think it's Knight. And I don't think Zika's got any more friends to bail him out of this one. Baron is alive for the taking. BLG have numbers. And they might deal with the waves first before attempting to threaten it. There is a ward from LNG's side that keeps constant vision on the Baron side for now. So BLG are just going to be happy with the pick.
Yeah, I'm curious how BLG snowballs the game from here, though. They have reclaimed their gold lead. And, okay, they're just going to hit Baron. I can't see them sticking this. On's also a mile away. And for whatever reason, doesn't have flash available. Okay,
Paranoia.
Oh, wait, no.
Lights are turned off. Wei steps up. Zhuo pops the ultimate, tries to reduce as much damage as he can, but he's separated from the team. Good locket timing, tempered fate. He sidesteps it, but Knight comes in, and now he's looking for Wei. The rest of the backline from LNG completely zoned off. Zika rejoins the fight. Wei pushing forward, and the Shield Assault just completely demolishes LNG's front line and backline in one swift strike. BLG wipe the floor with LNG, and any chance for an upset is just not in today's history books. BLG are the dominant ones. They are one of the best teams we've seen in LPL, and that story does not change tonight.
Right on. I know I gave your Bard from LPL Finals some grief to kick off this game, but this game 3, much better for On. That last fight was fantastic on the Bard, and BLG ending this series with a hell of a punctuation mark at the end, as this was a game where you called it out, Rafa. LNG, they had a good start. They got the first 6 kills. They had a lead. It was in their favor, and BLG's ability to just turn the game